honor of our General Conference theme, I Will Go, we have been asked at Oakwood University to show ways in which Oakwood University is advancing the mission of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, not only where we sit, but also globally. I want to take a moment just to share with you a few exciting innovations that are taking place at Oakwood that are all mission-focused and people-centered. I not only believe that the mission of a Seventh-day Adventist institution of higher education is to transform students through biblically based education, but it is also to impact our communities. This whole theme, adopted by our General Conference, I Will Go, is what we attempt to live out on a daily basis here at Oakwood University. May I just share with you one or two examples of how we are being true to Revelation chapter 14 and at the same time honoring Matthew chapter 25. Now, Revelation chapter 14 doesn't need much elaboration. We know that we should fear God, give glory to Him, for the hour of His judgment is come. But Matthew chapter 25 tells us what we do until He comes. We care for the sick, the needy. We minister to people's needs, and we try to make a difference by showing the love of God and His kingdom compassion. One of the ways we're doing that is in our zip code here at Oakwood University. When Mrs. Ellen G. White founded this institution in 1896, she founded it in Huntsville for a purpose. Well, we've done research 125 years later, and we have found that right here in the zip code where our institution sits, there is significant food insecurity, and it is more heightened since the pandemic has been raging. We decided long before the pandemic that we would begin to make a difference, but wouldn't you know, in God's own providential way, that the pandemic and our commitment to alleviating food insecurity intersected right at the perfect time. And when they intersected, when we decided that we would do something to address food insecurity, the local people outside of our institution celebrated this effort to make sure that every child receives adequate nutrition and healthy fare. This is how it was reported to publics far and wide.
Oakwood University and local organizations have teamed up to keep Huntsville healthy one stop at a time. The campus officially launched its mobile market today. Our Kenesha Dees has the details on how leaders are working to serve underserved communities.
Northwood's housing community is the first stop along the route for Oakwood University's mobile market. They hope to address the issue of food insecurity and food deserts.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture has indicated that there are certain zip codes, this being one of them, that are food deserts.
Oakwood University leaders hope to close the gap for lack of fruit and veggies in Northwest Huntsville. Their goal, accessibility and affordability with the launch of their new mobile market. But that's not all they have in store. As part of their Healthy Campus and Healthy Community initiative, they're in the construction phase of a new facility.
We're now in phase 2. Phase 2 is our Community Health Action Center, and on this side will be a Community Health Action Clinic.
Activities include cooking classes and ways to reverse diabetes. Student ambassadors will work both at the Community Health Action Center and the mobile market.
Also a former resident, I grew up in the community and I knew that there's a lack of affordable fresh fruits and vegetables.
Oakwood University partnered with the Huntsville Housing Authority and the Community Action Association of Alabama. The Northwoods housing community is one of 6 stops total. The mobile market will run bi-weekly, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 1 to 3:30 p.m.
This is a great idea. This is a great concept, bringing affordable items that will hopefully help residents become more healthy. This is just absolutely great.
And Oakwood University plans to open their Community Health Action Center by this June. Putting the Valley first, Kenesha Dees, WZDX News.
As you can see, this has been embraced with open arms by our community because we believe that here at Oakwood, not only are we called to make a difference in the lives of students on our campus, which we have been doing for now more than 12 decades, but also to make an impact in the community where we sit so that we exemplify the love of God and His kingdom compassion. Another feature that we'd like to share with you that illustrates how we will go, how Oakwood is going, comes in the area of health care. So we decided to make an impact in a very tangible way with underserved populations. And we said to ourselves, what we are going to do is to venture out of the box and to try to make a tremendous impact in a tangible, concrete way to the health advancement and the health support of our underserved populations. Donors joined us, and so this is how it looked on the day that everything was consummated in a partnership with our city.
Access to health care is critical during this pandemic, and leaders at Oakwood University and Huntsville Hospital promise to fulfill this need in certain communities. Our Kenesha Diaz tells us why they are coming together to build a new clinic.
Oakwood University and Huntsville Hospital are hoping that this Community Health Action Center will be a great resource for Northwest Huntsville.
The Community Health Action Center is designed to reach especially underserved citizens. That's why we're grateful for the partnership with Huntsville Hospital, because we could not do that on our own.
Signed, sealed, and the promise of a $4 million clinic to this community soon to be delivered. Oakwood University and Huntsville Hospital partnered to close the gap for access to health care.
I think Northwest Huntsville in general hadn't quite had the services that the community and the citizens need up here. So we've looked at opportunities to come up here and look for the appropriate location and so forth. And this fit all of our needs.
The 2.5-year project offers ambulatory services and checkups. Oakwood University President Leslie Pollard says this clinic needs to open especially now during the pandemic.
So we are applying to make Oakwood and Huntsville Hospital vaccination sites for this side of the county.
Pollard says Oakwood University nursing and healthcare students will serve and educate the public while working with Huntsville Hospital.
I hope that our organization has tried very hard to make sure that everyone gets access to health care, everyone gets access to vaccines, everyone who's in need gets the care that they need.
And as you can see behind me, crews are still working for this Community Health Action Center. It's slated to be completed this June. Putting the Valley first, Kenesha Diaz, WZDX News.
When Oakwood University was founded here in Huntsville, Alabama, it was a rural farm. As a matter of fact, it was a former slave plantation. And no one knew at the time that this dilapidated slave plantation that was purchased for $6,700, 360 acres and 65 oak trees, called Oakwood. No one knew that from the place where there were human beings who had been horribly enslaved, that God would launch liberating education. Mrs. Ellen White saw it, and this is what she said. She said, "In regard to this school here at Huntsville, I wish to say, all that is done by those connected with this school, whether they be white or black, is to be done with the realization that this is the Lord's institution." That's what we believe about Oakwood University. It is His, it is not ours. And we are using it 125 years later to spread His word and to share His glory to communities locally and around the world, around the corner and around the world. That's what Oakwood University is all about. We look forward to the day when sin and sickness and suffering will be no more. And we look forward to that day. But until then, we will go